Welcome back to the Dreamhack Dallas Regional Championship. I am Niall Joan Rivers, joined in the booth by Mason Clark. Mason, how are you feeling? We've seen a lot of really sweet games of Magic today.
I'm feeling good. We have one more round, you and I together, one more match here before Corey and BBD are going to take over and take everyone home through the finals. But it's been exciting. We've seen a lot of cool games happen in a lot of different decks. We're going to have some repeats this round, but overall, it's just been really exciting to see the standard format play out.
Yeah, I think Standard's in a really healthy spot right now. We've got to see a lot of different types of decks, a lot of different lists, just a lot of different stuff making it to the top of one of the toughest tournaments that you can be playing Standard in. But right now, we are going to get into a match with another Slogurk deck. We've got Kyle Gonzalez on 4-color Legends Slogurk list. A lot to look at with any Slogurk list, but what are your thoughts here?
Compared to our last deck, we don't have the Vorinclex in the main. We have a Glissa Sunslayer, which is going to maybe come up in this matchup against Temur Analyst. Overall, this is very much like the Sanctum deck that we have seen a lot of players adapt and play since their dominant performance of the Pro Tour. And then honestly, let's be real, dominant performance this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is absolutely shown up to this tournament and done so well. Now, Kyle here is going to be up against John Puglisi, who is on Temur Analyst. What are your thoughts, not only on this deck, but on the matchup here between Slogurk and Analyst?
I love the Analyst deck. I think it is a great deck in Standard that has a lot of play to it and a lot of ability to form different sideboard plans, execute the games the way you want. It's inherently powerful. I do think this matchup can be a little weird at times because, you're both kind of engine-y combo-y decks, but the Slogurk deck is a little bit better at their B plan, which is just like kind of attack you. And Analyst's plan is kind of like run you out of cards, which is really hard to do against the Slogurk deck, as we've seen time and time again.
Yeah, well, I think our match is ready, so we are going to hop straight into that. We've got Kyle on the left here with the 4-color Legends Slogurk deck, and John on the right with the Analyst deck. And Kyle's going to be on the play with just a Triome pass, and then we're going to go over to John, who's just going to play a Broker's Hideout, and that is going to be it. And it's going to be a turn 2 Rona for Kyle, as we've talked about in some of these other Slogurk matches. A great card that you want to see come down on turn 2 for sure.
Yeah. In this deck, you would almost like mulligan to 6 to every game have Rona on 2. It is like that powerful in your deck. It enables so many things.
Yep, and it's just going to be land pass for John, and Kyle's going to get to activate Rona here, discard a Rona, play Cavern, play Relic, Cavern on Human.
And this is what Kyle is looking for. We have the Relic, we have the Rona, our mana is online. We're going to start blazing through our deck.
And from John here, we are going to see a turn 3 Nissa, which is also, great for his deck. So we're really getting to see both decks kind of do what they want to be doing.
Yep. Worth mentioning, all these players are playing right now for a good chance to play for the top 8. They are probably in a great position to make the Pro Tour as well.
And Honest Rusty is going to come down, pick up a Slogurk from the yard, gonna play the Slogurk, gonna channel Takanuma. The engine is online.
Yeah, we are one piece away from winning the game.
Yeah, and we are picking up a Slogurk off the top of Takanuma.
Yeah, and I think
another Takanuma.
I think we're close. I think we have a combo now because. Okay, I guess not. I thought you could grab the Rusty and then pick up the Gurk and keep replaying and looping.
Yeah, but looks like we're going to play the Rona, which untaps the other Rona. So we get to float, looks like a blue mana. Now we're going to make green, bounce Slogurk, pick up Takanuma, Boseiju.
All right, maybe I was right, and there is a combo here because Kyle's moving so quickly about it. I might have just had the wrong steps to the combo. It looks like we're in Takanuma again, and that means we can kind of do what we just did as long as we hit some lands here. We hit 3 lands. That's going to put the counters up to 4 on the slow Gurk.
Yep. Pick the Rona back up. Takanuma again, or sorry, play Rona, tapping Slowgurk, untapping Rona, floating a blue, playing Rona.
Yeah, I mean, so this can technically fizzle because we could not get enough lands on the Overslime,
Sure.
right? But we're in the exact same spot we were before. The Slowgurk made a mana, and now we get to...
Right, we're channeling Takanuma once again. Slowgurk, Urtai land. And looks like John is just scooping it up there.
Yeah, I think John's like, oh, okay, I see you have enough that I'm just going to lose. There also might be a mana floating just non-verbally. Well, not shown, excuse me, verbally from the player. So congratulations to Kyle there.
Yeah, congratulations to Kyle. I mean, I think that's one of the faster Slowgurk wins we've seen so far. But what do you think about the sideboard here? What does he want to bring in?
Yeah, so I mean, Turn the Earth is a card that can be kind of nice as a way to remove some of those S and C lands that we saw get abused in the Temur Analyst deck in past rounds. Urtai is another great card as a way to counter some of these trigger abilities or the bigger spells that get cast. So I like both of those cards a lot. Liliana can sometimes be good against decks like this. Jace can sometimes be good, but I think for the most part, the main game plan is pretty nice. Maybe we'll see some duresses come in as a way to kind of pick apart some of the ways that the other player might stop Kyle. But I think for the most part, Kyle is pretty happy with the configuration. Probably just a bunch of small changes happening here.
Sure. And if we take a look back over at John's list once more, do you see anything in the sideboard here that jumps out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the Abrade is a way to kill that Relic and the Rona, which is nice. Pick your poison can kill the Relic, which is nice. Lithomantic Barrage can kill the Rona. Could technically kill a Slow Gurk, although that typically doesn't go the best for you. So those are all things that I could see John bringing in. Roxanne is also this kind of mid-rangey, grindy-ish card. It can kill some stuff. Kind of depends, I guess, on how John wants the sideboard there. But John needs to not allow the combo to be assembled, or that engine, I should say, because once it gets going, it obviously, as we just saw, won the game, but typically even is going to be a situation of just insurmountable advantage.
Yeah, well, I think our game 2 is ready, so we can hop right into it with John on the play this time. We're seeing the hands here. Oh my god, I see a Rona, I see an Inti, I see a Shieldred in the hand of Kyle. And looks like we're going to start with a Maestro's Theater for John. Get a mountain, gain a life. It's going to be just a Triome for Kyle. And turn 2 for John here. We see just a Forest and Pass. And here's Rona on turn 2 once more for Kyle.
Yeah, and this is what Kyle's looking for. John really wishes had like a volcanic spite there or something to kill off that Rona. It looks like John's like on almost all lands.
Yeah, looks a little tough. There is an ill-timed explosives, I think. So could be nice if Kyle, commits more to the board here. We are going to see Inti come down, untap Rona.
Well,
And here it is.
Seems like a well-timed explosion to me.
Yeah, we just gotta... Looks like we're discarding one of the lands and also the Virtue, which will be plenty to clean up this board. We're going to activate Rona in response, discarding a Plaza and putting a Go for the Throat in the exile zone that we can play next turn. Don't think it's going to see much use.
Yeah, this is one of those awkward things about this matchup is, Kyle does want cards like Go for the Throat for Aftermath Analyst as a way to kind of, stop John from setting up super early. But once again, or the Nissa, but like sometimes you just don't have those cards. And so it puts an awkward strain on Kyle where, probably would much rather have a card like Duress or something there, if Kyle knew this was how the game was going to play.
Right, now Kyle does get down a Shieldred the Apocalypse, very powerful card that can run away with games on its own. We see John here going to go ahead and play out his Nissa and play out one of the sack lands, which is going to make some mana off the Nissa.
You'll see both these players playing with a lot of speed and precision. They've been playing their decks well, and they also know that it's very possible that these decks can take a while to win when they're winning, and they're going to play at a competitive pace, and so love to see it.
Yep, so we've got, right now it looks like one blue mana floating and one green mana floating off of our Nissa triggers.
And we're going to get either another Nissa or an Aftermath Analyst here.
But there's the Analyst.
Yep. That is probably the best hit for John, as now we have a lot of lands in the graveyard, and next turn we can use that to, really spring ahead on mana, maybe get this Virtue in our hand onto the battlefield.
Yep, so he is going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to go ahead and mill 3, just 3 lands. And pass back over to Kyle. He's going to gain a little bit of life off of this Shieldred.
Yeah, Kyle might be gaining a little bit of life, but he might be losing a lot of life on the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
As John basically can activate the Aftermath Analyst for plus mana due to all of the SNC sack lands and the normal lands that are in the graveyard. And then Nissa will generate mana for each land entering. So Kyle, that Go for the Throat that got exiled off NT. Once again, we talked about this weird squeeze that happens. Really wishes he had it this game in his hand.
Yeah, and we are going to see the Shieldred get in for 4 damage here. Of course, there's no world where John wants to block that with these very vital, important creatures. And whoa, Kyle's actually going to play. This is Koto's the Silent Spider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this card is kind of nice. It lets you exile a card, but
yeah, so this is going to exile anything but a basic land from John's graveyard and then search everywhere for all of the copies of that and exile those as well.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle went after Ill-Timed Explosion instead of something like the Virtue of Strength. And looks like Kyle's also just taking a look at how John sideboarded.
Mm-hmm. Now, importantly, Kyle can play one of those for as long as he controls this creature, but does have to actually spend the mana to do it. Doesn't get to do it for free or anything.
Yeah, and then we know John has this Memory Deluge and this Virtue in hand. So, and it looks like John's going to get to untap with the Analyst. So when we crack this Analyst, if we're going to do it right now before we add any lands, John's going to go down 4 and up 10 mana. So a +6, which means we can play the Virtue of Strength. And, you can actually use Garenbric's Gift to get the land as well. Your graveyard to make +1 mana. And then John's going to have so much mana available to him. That's really just going to be a matter of what you can find.
Yeah, just an unbelievable amount of mana, really. So here we go. We are cracking the Analyst. Lands come back. There's 6 of them. You get 6 Nissa triggers and 4 of these SNC sack land triggers.
Yep. And then at the end of it all, we're also going to get or I guess at the beginning of it all, we're going to get another elf. All right, we hit the Nissa. So Aftermath Analyst was definitely the best for John because we could have basically ran this play back again. But unfortunately for him, that was not the case. But he'll have to make do with all this mana.
Yeah, just have to make do with like 10 mana or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's the 6. We got 7 mana there floating.
Yeah, did John search his deck for the lands yet?
I don't think so. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it should be 6 mana. Or no, spending 1 off of for the adventure side of the virtue.
Yeah, to get back the analyst.
Yep, and we are going to go ahead and run this play back, I think. Mill 3, 2 lands get hit. One of them is one of the sack lands. Just going to use all that floating mana, keep it real simple. 6 more lands come in.
5 more life as well for John. And I was going to say, I have to imagine this time we're going to actually search our deck for the lands.
Yep, 3, 4. Five. Yep, only get 5. That's going to be 5 more mana floating.
That means we are going to play we have the mana to play Virtue Strength if we want to, which will triple all of our basics.
Yeah, 11 mana floating. And we will go ahead and cast the Virtue. 3 blue there. Looks like we might be casting this Deluge.
Yeah, it looks like we're casting Deluge, and we have a Titan of Industry, I think, in our hand. All right, looks like we found a Pick Your Poison, a Spelunking, and a Fires of Victory, and a land. Spelunking, a card that, would have been great to have at the start of this turn. It'll put us up somehow even more mana.
Yeah. See what John does from here. Still has access to a ton of mana. Still has access to 9 mana. Has the Pick Your Poison, has the Fires in hand, has the Titan.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the Titan just come down and probably, put a shield counter on itself and maybe just like make a Rhino.
Yeah, looks like Titan is here, choosing the modes here.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where, the Titan of Industry is good, and it definitely, matters in the board state. But it was not what you would like to have at the end of all this. John kind of wishes he could World Soul's Rage and kill Kyle out of nowhere, or chain off more deluges to set up an easy kill. He does have a deluge in the graveyard, so if he untaps with this Virtue, he will be able to win the game almost assuredly with all this mana. But he does have to untap, and Kyle might also have some effect that can maybe answer that.
Yeah, well, going back over to Kyle now, we're going to play the Relic. These are 2 decks that both can just take turns where you take about 1,000 game actions. So now it's Kyle's turn with the game actions. He's going to play an Honest Rusty, get a Rona down, play a Slogurk. Does he have it?
It's very close. We're basically the same setup as last time, I think.
There's 3 lands.
Yeah, I was gonna say that hitting the lands for the Slogurk, I think, was a big part of it to make sure you could actually keep going. Because now the Gurk taps your mana, and you get to do that one for free with the NT. Pick it up. Now means we're gonna go up a card every time we channel as well. Yeah, and I mean those 3 lands go to hand. One's a Takanuma. You can channel the Takanuma with that land for turn to play the Slogurk. Untap the Rona. Now when the Takanuma hits the graveyard, you get the land on it, and then you're now you hit a Rona as well that you can just cast, which I think helps speed up the process. And Kyle's saying, hey, I've got it again. This is what happened in game 2. This is going to happen now.
Yeah, so gonna go up to 3. Got multiple Ronas.
Yeah, I mean, if this was good enough last turn to be the win, I guess this might be a situation where John has to make sure Kyle left in the things that could combo.
Yeah.
But with the Rona in the exile as well and the NT exiling things, it should be okay. I know that there are theoretical fail states where you could get some weird things in exile and fizzle, but I don't know if we can do that from here.
All right, so we are returning Slogurk again, getting the Takanumas back, replaying the Slogurk, triggering Rona. Takanumaing. Just 1 counter on the Slogurk. Use Rona to play Rona, float a mana.
Yeah, and now it looks like Kyle has presented this loop, I think. Yeah, it can't be fizzling. So congratulations to Kyle.
Wow. That was crazy. I mean, we got to see the Analyst deck really just have like a huge pop-off turn, but just not really be able to do anything once they had established all this mana. And then Kyle really just had like one good shot to close things out and was able to get there through the same combo that he's established in game 1. Congratulations, Kyle. That was amazing to watch.
Yeah, it was really impressive from both players. This shows how good Honest Rusting has been in this deck. Just sort of a weird value card that opens up more combo kills. Clearly was the intention when they were designing that card was to do this. So congratulations, though, to Kyle. Extremely well played.
Yeah, and I think we actually have an interview with Kyle that we can cut to now and see what he has to say about it.
Hey everybody, welcome back down to the feature match area. I've got Kyle Gonzalez with me. And Kyle, it's been a hell of a weekend for you today, this weekend. It's been a little bit of an up and down, kind of like a roller coaster, because you started out 1-2, and here you are at 11-2 with 10 in a row.
Yeah, it's just really unbelievable. A lot of these games have been just really close, like down to the wire. A lot of them have been like, maybe my opponent has made like one stumble and I took like a mile advantage of that. I feel really good about today. I did not have this high of expectations going to the event. I thought I'd maybe day 2 and maybe like, I don't know, scrub out like X4 or whatever, X5. I don't know, I feel really good about my deck. I think my deck choice is really good. I've been playing this deck for months and months now. So like since like Energy Champs when I played it back then. I'm just really speechless. I don't know what to say. I don't think it's really sunk in yet. I'm also potentially in top 8 now. It's just really wild. I just don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, Four Color Legends is treating you really well here. Another thing that I know I was speechless the first time it happened for me. You qualified for your first Pro Tour here this weekend as well. Can you kind of like walk us through what goes through your head when that happens? Because like I'm assuming this is kind of a dream that's been realized for you.
Oh, as soon as I like started competitive Magic and like watching coverage, I like watch coverage every day, every night. Like it's what I fall asleep to. I'm like, I want to be there. I want to be in that booth. I want to be in the feature match. I want to play with all these high level players. This looks fun. It's exactly what I want to do. So now that I'm doing it here, I'm playing with all these high level players, and now I've competed, qualified for my first Pro Tour. It's just super amazing. Like I said, it hasn't sunk in yet, but I'm sure I'll be like screaming and yelling outside this convention center in a little bit.
Well, I mean, again, congratulations. It's really awesome for you. Let's talk about your deck just for a little bit. Your Four Color Legends deck. mostly stock. You said you copied someone else's mana base and stuff, but you're making the change that we've seen a lot of people make: less Titanias, more She-Holdred.
Yeah. I just thought that aggro would not be as prevalent as it is, even though it has had a good presence in the last couple of RCs. I thought a lot of people would be a lot more prepared for these aggro type decks in the event, so they'd be preparing more hate for it. So I decided with that, I think aggro's not going to have a good weekend. So because of that, I've dodged aggro. I've not seen it all day. I've seen it like Toxic, and then the blue-green artifact deck is like the only aggro decks I've really seen. But otherwise, I've just queued into Analyst all day. Gurk Mirrors, Control. I've just been flying by, cruising on. Mana base I copied was Ray Zhang from the Pro Tour. I looked at it, I saw the Manland, the Sunken Citadel. I thought those were all really cool options. They've been really good for me all day, especially in the Control matchup when you're able to cheat on mana and still have a threat in play, while also being able to deploy threats so you're attacking them from double axes. As for the Shieldred, I think it's a really good card. I think you're a deck that demands a lot of threats early on, and you demand answers for those threats, so having all your cards just be more and more impactful as the curve goes on needs to, like, I feel like it's really good. They've wasted, like, their kill spell on 1-2 for, like, a Rona and a Rutstein or Inti, Gurk, whatever, and you just flame a Shieldred, and they just don't have anything left, and you just, like, buy yourself a lot of time and just kind of crawl ahead from them that way.
Yeah, and you were talking about one more thing you wanted to talk about here was the specific card in your sideboard. The Silent Spider has been really good for you this weekend.
Yes, Katose, the Silent Spider, is really good. Legit, every round, my opponents looked at my sideboard guide, or not sideboard, and just looked at it like, what's a Katose? And I just hold it every single round. It's a 5-mana creature. When it enters, you surgical a card in a graveyard, and then you get to cast a copy by paying any color mana. So it's a legend, so it makes all your things cost 1 less for channel lands. It's a human, so it works well with your Cavern synergies and that. And if they kill it, that's fine. It's just a 4/4 body. It gets in there well. If they kill it, you just Takanuma it back, you Rutstein it back, you just do it again. And then even then, if like you could just Otawara it, cast it again, you just like tear through their deck if they. I've brought it in against all the Analyst opponents and all my blue control opponents. I just like get key cards like Deadly Cover Up, their Nisses, their World Souls Radius, their Ill-Time Explosions, their Deluges. Just I just like make them really fumble with all their cards, and it's really excellent all weekend.
Well, you've been doing great all weekend long. Kyle, congratulations again on qualifying for your first Pro Tour, and best of luck trying to make that top 8.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tannen, for that great interview. I mean, such an amazing display of knowledge and mastery of the Slogurk deck from a lot of different players this weekend so far. Mason, this is the last round that you and I are covering together. We're about to hand people off to the very capable hands of Corey and BBD. Do you have any last, final thoughts you want to get out before we hand things over?
Well, first, I want to say, it's been really great to be in the booth here and do commentary with you today, getting to cover these 4 rounds of Standard. I had a blast. It was awesome to get to, the privilege to help bring commentary to you all this past RC. I had a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed the rounds as well. And hopefully y'all can withstand BBD and Corey. I know they can be a lot, but be nice. They're newer to it. They're trying. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the stream for coverage, Heavy Play. You can go to heavyplay.com and use code Dallas2024 to get 10% off all these great products from the Curve Sleeve ETB Playmat, RFG Deck Box Max and Normal, and the RNG Dice Box Max and Normal. Check out all of those. They have display videos on the website to see if this is the right product for you. Check them out if they're helping make coverage happen. But now, it was great to be in the booth. Do you have anything last words before we head out?
Yeah, thank you, Mason. It was so great to be in the booth here with you as well. We got to see some awesome games of Magic. We got to see a lot of variety and what sort of decks we saw. Some of the more controlling ones, some of the combo ones, some of the aggro decks. Really speaks to the health of the format. And it was just such an honor and privilege to get to commentate the regional championships for a format as alive and fun as Standard is right now. So thank you for joining me. I had a great time doing it. We are going to hand you guys over to Corey and BBD. We're going to get back to some more Magic. It's going to be one more round for the cut to top 8, and then it's just top 8, and they're going to carry you through to the finals. So thank you, everyone. See you later.